Just taking for there we go. Okay, we're back with episode 50. We're gonna get right into it today. I know probably most of you guys will be listening to this after the Magic game on Sunday. Definitely, probably. I mean, you're gonna listen to it Monday morning, so after the Super Bowl as well. So we're gonna get right into it. We have the Super Bowl to watch as well. We can get started. I think we're gonna skip over the first two games that were just kind of blowouts. Obviously, we played a Nets team that was down their four best players at the time, and we played a Magic team that's just one of the worst teams in the NBA. So we're getting into the Nuggets game. Nolan, did you have any takeaways from the Nuggets game?
Well, yeah, still big to pick up those wins against Nets and Magic. They were bad teams, but you still got to get those ones. Obviously, we had some craziness at the trade deadline to an extent go down. So I guess before we get into Nuggets, the Celtics sent away Richardson, a pick, Schroeder.
I have the tweet pulled up.
All right, yeah, you want to just
saying, okay, overall, yeah. So as far as the San Antonio trade, the trade that had us acquire Derrick White, we sent Josh Richardson a first-round pick and Romeo Langford in exchange for Derrick White. I thought initially, I guess we can start with the trades. I'd probably rather do that anyways, get them out of the way. Initially, I kind of looked at it, and I thought that this was a little bit of an overpay. I don't think Derrick White's a bad player at all, but it just seems like Romeo, I mean, he still didn't promise. I think he's still going to be cheap after this year. A first-round pick, which I'm finding out now, I think it's a pick swap. So not as significant, I don't think. But it's pretty far down the line. 2028. Josh Richardson, who's been playing really well this year. I don't think that would continue to next year. Like, he's having a very outstanding shooting year, and it's very unlike him. So I don't know if that would continue going forward. We get a guy that Ime has a relationship with because of his time in San Antonio, and a guy that really fits the mantra of what Ime is trying to build, which is very old school Spurs-like, where it's ball movement and defense. And Derrick White is the perfect example of that. He's an incredible defender. From what I've talked about from other Spurs fans, is he's very similar to Marcus Smart in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I initially felt like it was an overpay as well. But at the end of the day, we did get the best player in the deal for sure. Richardson is one of those guys where I'd love to see him come back maybe in a year or two for one more season with us. He was huge for us, so I feel like he kind of won over Celtics fans this half season. And there is a part of me that fears Romeo becoming the next Kawhi with Paul up in San Antonio. So I felt like it was a bit of an overpay last night, but I was when the trade was announced, but I wasn't too pessimistic. And then obviously he had a huge first game against the Nuggets. I think that the Celtics have the best backcourt combo defensively in the league with Smart and White. I don't think it's really even close.
So funny you bring that up. I found some stats. I don't know, it's called Basketball Index, B-Ball Index. There was a couple tweets I had pulled up. I don't know how to fact check it if that's the case. But they had stats that basically said yes, it's the best backcourt in the league. They had a bunch of random statistics and a bunch of advanced metrics, and they got it from B-Ball Index, who I'm not really familiar with. I use Clean the Glass, the standard NBA stats, but that one I hadn't really seen before. But what they were saying was they rank number one and blah, blah, blah. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was defensive. It was something I'll just actually share the graphic I have.
On-ball defense, maybe?
Let's see if this works.
Can
you see my screen?
No.
No, you can't. Okay. I tried that.
But while you're doing that, when I think about the best on-ball defenders in the league, I think Smart, Drew Holiday, Caruso's good, and then Derrick White and DeJounte probably were the best combo before, but then you put Smart and White together. Okay, your screen's popping up now.
Yeah, there it is. Like I said, I don't know I don't know where they get these numbers from. Um, it's from B-Ball Index. It was a pay it had a paywall to like access the site, so I really didn't get to check it out too much. But this fits my narrative, fits your narrative, so I'm all for using these stats, whether whether or not they're completely accurate or not. But it
Yeah.
just looks up here like matchup difficulty. I'm guessing blue means like elite, or dark blue means elite, light blue means like good, yellow is solid, orange is below average, and red is not good at all. So you look at Marcus Smart and Derrick White, and they're both in matchup difficulty. They're both in the blue in the elite category. Derrick White ranks higher as an on-ball defender, chaser defender, a ball handler defender, which I think that we're going to utilize him a lot. He's pretty strong. I think he might be a tad quicker than Marcus for the most part, but I think we're going to be able to use him today, and we'll go into our bets later. I think he's going to be in charge of guarding and chasing around Trae Young for a lot of this game. I feel like we usually struggle with one of Kevin Huerter or Trae Young whenever we play the Hawks. So I think having these two guys is really going to help slow those guys down.
Do you remember the, finals? It might have been 2016, but might have been earlier. Anyway, there's that kinda meme where LeBron's, like, looking over to the scorer's table at who's checking in and sees Kawhi, and he kinda, like, is just
Yeah.
visually frustrated. I think of that when we throw Smart on some dominant point guard, and then Smart checks out and White checks in, like, we're just putting these ball handling guards in a torture chamber right now.
Yeah,
With
I mean, and what's so great about this is we have like 6 legitimately plus defenders on this team right now. Um, like, and Grant's like a solid defender, but like legit plus like good defenders. You can look at this here where it says like matchup difficulty. I know Rob ranks below, but like overall, um, we have Rob's his best ability is not his on ball ability. It's his rim protection. Jalen Brown's another, or Jason Tatum's another one that's still above average, but he's another guy that has his length and his kind of switchability and versatility, like it shows here, that makes him such a great defender. Like it's gonna just be no matter what team we face, we're gonna have answers for pretty much everyone. Like even in the past, we struggled with guys like Embiid, and we have Al Horford for that now. Like Al, it's not end all be all, but now we have just bodies to throw at him. Rob, the way he played against Jokic was really promising for him playing against Embiid later on, because I really was impressed with the way that Rob played against him, like man on man. A lot of times, Rob had been playing on typically the power forward if they did have a dominant physical center like that, so Rob could kind of roam. But they had
Yeah,
him down the stretch that we went small, and they had Rob matching up on him, and Rob was really impressive. Like he handled his own against Jokic, which
I
is
was really
something you don't
impressed
see every day.
too. He didn't shy away at all. He really took it in the chest, which you have to with Jokic. It was definitely a little scary when he was on the perimeter, but overall, I thought Rob handled it well considering, Jokic is so versatile. But man, Jokic still played incredible. Rob did really good on him, but
Yeah.
whew,
I mean, he had like 23, 16, 11, something like that.
yeah,
And he shot below 50%, which is like that's a win. If he's like shooting below 50, it doesn't really matter. I think Rob had just as many rebounds as him. Um, I mean, Rob was busting his ass. I tweeted that out. I was like, dude, like he's trying his hardest. He's doing everything he can. Like, there's only so much you're gonna do to stop Jokic. Like, he's pretty much just gonna have to have an off night. If he's on, um, you're just gonna have to throw everything you can at him. I think Rob finished with like 4 fouls, but we have that, especially with Tice being added in there. Tice, another guy, he's like a solid enough defender where we're gonna just be able to throw bodies at these elite centers. And we have the matchups now. If teams want to go small, like we'll probably see today, if I'm guessing with Atlanta, John Collins is out, so I'm guessing they'll probably go a little bit smaller lineups. I'd probably assume we're gonna see more Derrick White kind of alternate out, throwing Horford and Rob at Clint Capella. Like we're gonna have some matchups, and it's very versatile our lineup now, and we're not gonna have any weaknesses. Like you're not gonna be able to pick on anyone on our team really, aside from maybe aside from Peyton Pritchard. Like if Peyton Pritchard's put on there, like he's gonna have some mismatch difficulties with bigger guys, but for the most part, like we have no weak links.
No. We did kinda jump the gun to the Nuggets game, but so we sent Schroeder away for Tice, which for all of us, at least s for me, I was super stoked to see.
You
I mean,
forget
we
you
love
forgot the
Tice.
most you forgot the most important part of that deal. You know what else went in
Bol
that
Bol,
deal?
Bol Bol.
No, that was a separate one. I forgot we did have a third trade. Ennis
What else?
Freedom and Bruno.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Ennis Freedom, yeah, Ennis Freedom's gone, which is I'm loving to see it. He has plenty of free time now to do his
Social
CPAC
activism.
appearances. Yeah, his CPAC appearances down in Florida. So that was a huge one. I'm glad I never ever see him play pick and roll defense ever again. Um,
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see him in the league again.
I don't know.
Um,
I feel like maybe Portland will sign him again. It seems like he just bounces back and forth between us and Portland the last few years.
True. Big thing with Tice, though, is we really shouldn't be playing Al more than, like, 25 minutes, maybe even 20, if we want him fresh for playoffs. Like, I think around the 25 mark's big. So having, Tyson just to eat up some of those minutes, I think is gonna be really big, come playoff time and healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Yeah, I think that's gonna be huge. Also, building in off days. I mentioned that as well. I think Greeny had tweets similar to what you were just saying. Um, no, building in those off days is gonna be huge. Just to like keep these guys because Allen Robb are not very typically very healthy guys. Guys that are able to stay injury free. They've had a really good stretch recently, but I think we shouldn't jinx it or like overextend these guys so they're tired come playoff time. Obviously, the wins are more important, but I think with Daniel Tice there, you get a guy that's pretty versatile for the center position. You know, not this got decently quick feet for a center, strong enough that he can guard some of the bigger centers. Obviously, he's going to struggle with guys like Embiid and Jokic, but for the most part, like we're just getting another solid defender to put on this team. Uh, I think the big thing with this trade is I think that this really sets us up for once again, like you said, like being able to rest Rob and Al, kind of limit their minutes because they've played a lot of big minutes this year. I think our lineup as a whole has played a ton of minutes. So getting Tyson there to kind of eat up some of those minutes and not be a complete liability defensively like Ennis was, that's gonna be huge. That's gonna be a big bonus to the team. I do think this team is missing like still like one more piece to really make us like a true like contender. Like we really need a guy that like another 3-and-D wing or someone like that, like a wing
Mhm.
with just another solid player. Like I just think
A
we're still a
shooter.
little bit away. Yeah, yeah, like I said, like a 3-and-D wing, like what we hope Aaron Nesmith can turn into. Like we're really one of those away. Like even a Josh Richardson, like obviously he's not 3-and-D typically, but even if we were able to somehow keep Josh Richardson and still make all these moves, like our team would be really scary come playoff time.
Yep. Alright, so you wanna jump into this Atlanta game?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we already had a chance to kind of
Or
talk about the Nuggets game. I want to go a little
me,
bit more
Rob
into it.
played huge again. What's new?
Yeah, he had a huge block at the end on, I believe, was it Michael Porter Jr. that went up for that dunk? Not Michael Porter Jr. I mean,
No.
was it Aaron Gordon?
Yep.
And Michael Porter Jr. has been injured for like months. I believe it was like, yeah, he came off like the weak side and was able to get a huge block at the end of the game. Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown both, I think, like honestly, had bad offensive games, bad shooting nights. Tatum's numbers look better than what you really saw watching the game because he had a lot of free throws at the end. He was the one getting put to the line. And he was he was knocking them all down.
Mhm.
But that I mean
Which is nice to
that's
see. It's a good
yeah.
win when you don't play perfect either. They've got injuries, but they still find a way to put a good roster out. I mean,
I mean they have
Campazzo's tough.
Jokic.
Yeah, they've got Jokic, exactly.
They've got the guy who offensively is as talented as they come in the center position. And defensively, you know, they're good. They're good enough. They're very, I think, middle of the road defensive team with Jokic there.
So
Yeah, I can't
the
believe
line
though that
for
they didn't
Atlanta is
call that.
7.
Yeah,
That's
that's
a
a pretty
little
big one.
steep.
Yeah, John Collins is out. I don't want to touch the line. I think the Celtics are going to win, but yeah, I don't want to touch that line right now because Atlanta's a tough team. I feel like they always give us fits no matter what.
I'm
Um,
thinking my play might be a 6.5 point teaser with Celtics and Bengals. So get the Bengals up to 10.5 and the Celtics to around even. And then teaser, they both have to win.
that so like kind of like a parlay. I guess I don't really
It's
know what a
different than
teaser
a
is. I've never
parlay,
messed with that.
so So there's something called teasers. You can do 6, 6.5, or 7. And essentially, you're able to manipulate two spreads that much, but they both have to hit, and it's still the payout of like a regular bet. So like it's 50 to win 45. I have to hit both those games, but I get to change the spread.
Word. Okay.
So basically, Celtics will have to win, and Bengals will have to keep it single digits.
Yeah. So if you want to give me the numbers on that and just like text that to me afterwards.
Yep.
Okay. So my three, pretty straightforward. I'm not going to make any Super Bowl bets. I'm rooting for the Bengals. I feel like the Rams are a better team. I'm nervous to see how the offensive line holds up against Von Miller and Aaron Donald.
Me too.
But
Let's hope
mine
it's a good
for
game.
today, I am hammering the under. I'm hoping that Trey Young and Kevin Herter are put into Alcatraz, Mark Smart, and Derrick White. So I'm hammering the under. The under's 224. And that's standard, just
I like
minus
that.
110. Rob over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. I feel like he's been nailing that recently, like with ease. So I'm hammering. I think he did that. The other night he had like 15 and 16, 16 and 16, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
So
A couple assists
points,
too.
yeah, points, rebounds, and assists. I'm hammering that all day. And the Trey Young under 27.5. I think that we're gonna take. Hopefully Derek White's gonna be able to take away, and Marcus Smart's gonna be able to take away Trey Young. If Kevin Herter hurts us, then so be it. But I think I didn't want to touch the points and assists under because I feel like this could be a game where Trey Young is getting clamped up and he just is facilitating, racking up the assists. So I'm hammering the under at 27.5. That's minus 114.
You can leave my plays for this as just the one I said, but I would like all those. I'm probably gonna bet them all. Just a quick back to the Nuggets game. It worked out because the spread was 6 and it ended up pushing. And the under hit as well, which I was on, but it was really bullshit for it to push. Like Jokic hit that layup with like 5 seconds, meaningless. To
Oh
go
yeah,
from
like I
8
turned it
to
off
12.
like right before that. Like
Yeah,
I
so
was
it
like,
was
okay,
still
that's a
sick
win.
at
There's
push because like it was a close game even late in the 4th, but
yeah.
it looked like
Those,
it definitely would
those
cover.
games are the worst because like you never know how the foul shots are gonna go. Like if the team just hitting foul shots and just keeps fouling, like the league can like balloon up to like 10 or so. But
Right.
um, with the Nuggets, I did want to mention one more thing. Obviously, this was the first time we got to see Derek White. And he was fantastic. I don't think we can expect him to shoot. I believe he was like 3 for 6 or 3 for 7 from three. He's not a guy that's typically a knockdown shooter. I think he's a 34% career 3-point shooter, similar to
But
Marcus
those
Smart.
were good looks. I love to see like, I think he's gonna get a lot of good looks with us. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if his percent I mean, he's not gonna shoot 50%, but I could see it going
But
up a little.
once again, like league average, I wouldn't mind that, like 36%, like creeping up.
Mhm.
I think he's shooting 31% of the year, which is not good, but a lot of our guys are down, so maybe he'll hit his stride right as the rest of our team start to hit theirs. I think the winning streak's up to 8 right now. I think we're basically the best team in basketball since like December 31st. And one more thing about Tice. I believe Ma spoke on it. He said that because Tice like really was out of the rotation in Houston, he's gonna like slowly build him back. So I think he's gonna try to put him in, like a couple minutes at a time, trying to give Al or Rob a little bit of a break, and eventually I think he's hoping to build towards, building in some off days for especially Al, but even maybe Rob
Mhm.
too.
I don't expect Tice to play today. Do you?
No,
No.
no, I would expect. I don't know. Maybe if the game starts to go big one way, but no, I think the rotation is going to stay at 8 people. I think it's really going to bounce back and forth, depending on play between Pritchard and Neesmith. I really thought Neesmith had the best
The
shot
upper
because of
hand.
yeah, I thought he had the upper hand because of what it seemed like the Celtics were doing. Is they want to stay like long and switchable, and Pritchard doesn't fit that as well because Pritchard's like 6 foot 6'1". Um, but he got some minutes the other day. I think he got 10 minutes to run. I don't think he played too well, but
Well, I remember he was 1 for 5 or 1 for 6, probably 1 for 3 from 3, but the one he hit was really tough and a big shot. It was that step back at the clock, and the ones he missed, I really did like the looks. So it'd be great to see Pritchard heat up because he can knock him down.
I just feel like if there's one to go this offseason, I feel like it's going to be preferred to be Pritchard because of the identity they're building. Like it seems like the identity is like, yeah, we're going to be long and switchable, and that's what we're
Yeah,
building towards. And Neesmith fits that a lot better than Pritchard because Neesmith is like you're pretty average size player. Like he's about 6'6", like 195, 100 like or so pounds. Like that's just a guy that he can guard. He can like comfortably or not comfortably guard, but he'll be decent enough at guarding like 2 through 4. So it just seems like based on what the moves they've made and what Ime seems to prefer, it seems like Neesmith fits that a lot better than Pritchard does. But I hope Pritchard balls out. I love Peyton Pritchard. I think either way though, I think when come playoff time, without if it unless there's an injury, I think we're going to a 7-man rotation. I just think we're only going to ride with Derrick White and Grant Williams off the bench.
well, Tice should make it 8.
I don't think Tyson would make a playoff rotation for us.
Really?
No, unless Grant slumps and he takes a lot of some of Grant's minutes. But I think as of right now, I think they'd be completely content going just 7-man rotation, come playoff time, and just riding with Grant and Derrick White off the bench. And then obviously Tice, if someone gets into foul trouble, they'll have him there. But I don't think they plan to play Tice or Pritchard or Neesmith. Those are really the only 3 guys you can play that's left on this roster. Speaking of that, we need to fill like I'm pretty sure 3 more spots within the
They
next
brought up
couple weeks.
Hauser and
Yeah, we had 5 spots open after
yeah,
the
I
trades.
know.
So we still have like 2 or 3 more spots to fill, I
Yeah,
think. But maybe more G League guys. Maybe IT. Maybe.
I'd be lit.
He wouldn't play at all, which would kind of suck. He'd just be sitting there most games, but it'd be cool to have him on the squad.
Sweet. Well, we got a
Yeah.
Celtics game in 30 minutes and the Super Bowl tonight, so
Yep. So make sure to send me those bets, Nolan, and I will see you next week.